Me, Jody Misiak. Today we're going to talk about how life flows so much better when you're feeling better. So grab your coffee or tea, come chat with me today, and let's feel better together. Okay, so last week I had a huge life lesson. I could have taken it as the worst week of my life. Well, not worst week, but I could have called it that. And it really just was a life lesson. Nothing crazy bad happened. There's definitely a lot more of people's lives that have bigger struggles than mine. I just felt not myself. Life was not flowing, or I wasn't flowing with life. Have you ever felt like you were in a stream in a canoe and you're paddling against the current? That's how I felt last week. So I had some lessons to learn clearly, and it just, yeah. So today I'd like to share a little bit about that with you, because we all have those moments where we feel like we're going up a uphill battle, or where we're going against a flow, or just everything we do isn't working out, or just like maybe a bad thing after a bad thing happens to you. Like, for instance, last week, I wasn't feeling myself. I wasn't in line with my children. Like, a lot of the time, if they're having, we have very emotional children. And when they're having their moments, I'm usually very grounded to connect with them and help them from a place of love. Last week, I wasn't grounded, and it did not help the situations with our children. So I actually had to have my husband pick my daughter up from school, just because I wasn't in that place. And she could feel it, and then we would, cry home together. And that's never good. So, and then after that, I actually had a birthday gift for my husband that was delivered to our house go missing off our front door. So off our front porch, which has never, ever happened. And we get a lot of things to our house. So just life was not flowing well for me last week. And I'm going to share with you how to get out of that if you ever find yourself in that place. First is realizing, I had to realize that I was out of alignment with my true self, with who I am, and just who I want to show up as. I had to first realize that I was going against the flow. And it wasn't about like trying to turn around the canoe. Because have you ever tried to turn around, like, in a really, amount of like a really strong current, like turning that around, especially on your own, try turning that around, so it's just being aware that you're heading in the wrong direction, and really just loving yourself there. And my biggest aha moment last week was just being reminded, because I knew this already, but sometimes we just need to be reminded. And this is why I'm here too, is to help you remind you of these things. So one of the biggest things is, when you love yourself, life loves you even more. So it was like, wow, I just wasn't giving myself that love. And, when the package went missing, I was beating myself up over it, second guessing actions and things things that I don't normally do. But I was in that place of just not loving myself as much as I could have. And, even in that moment, just giving yourself a hug, slowing down. That was one of the biggest ones I did, was slow down. And a beautiful thing that happened was, actually, my husband surprised me, because my birthday was November 1st. My husband surprised me with a massage on the Friday. So I was having, not the greatest week. And I took that moment, like, already throughout that week, I was realizing I was out of alignment with myself. I was out of flow. And I took that moment on Friday to realize that was my big reset moment. Like, obviously I was working up towards that, but from that moment on, that 1 hour of massage was really going to just, really move me into the direction, turn that canoe around. That was my moment where I was like, this is where I'm going back with flow. I'm taking an hour just for me. So I'm going to break it down. So how did I exactly get back into the flow? Actually, I already did that. I realized, realizing that I was out of flow. So I'm just reading my notes. Okay. So that's it. Okay. So first was realizing I was out of flow. And then the second is just reaching for a slightly better feeling. So like I mentioned, that Friday where I went to the spa and had a massage, it was like that pivotal point, like that moment you could really see. But leading up to that, I started feeling better, because if I didn't, I probably wouldn't have left the house Friday to go for that massage. I might not have felt like I was worthy enough, because I had like such a crappy week. So I just reached for a better thought. And my husband knew I was going through a week like of crazy town. So he actually took the kids swimming on his own. And actually the kids were pretty cool with that. Mommy, you stay home. And I allowed for like that hour that they were gone to just be and just slow down, because I was actually getting, and it kind of makes sense that I had this week, to be honest, because I've been so focused on wrapping up my year business wise, because I was planning on taking the month of December off. And then I decided I'm going to actually sign up for some courses and really better off my crafts, and really just so I can bring more to you in January. And so I've just been really focused. So this was life showing me and reminding me to slow down and to walk my own talk. So this was like, I always slow down, but I needed to slow down more because I was working so much in other areas. It's balance. We all need balance. And yes, I always take time for myself. I've reinstated my me nights on Tuesdays and things like that. However, other moments, like I was missing lunches and things like that. So it's a balancing act. And you're not alone if you're there, because I have them too. So again, life was reminding me. So reach for a better thought. So when you have those moments, because, I didn't start my week off on the right foot, and then, one thing after another. However, when I reached for a slightly better thought, then new things were appearing in my life. People were coming and supporting me in different ways that I never even saw being supported. My husband even upped his game, my children. So like, as I reach for a better thought, just a little one, doesn't have to be, to go from like not feeling great to like trying to feel like you're a superstar when you're not feeling great about yourself. There's steps in between. So don't try to jump there, just walk there, or crawl if that's where you're really at. But just take one step towards a nicer thought, a more positive thought about yourself. And like I said, then I had that reminder where, when you love yourself, life loves you too. That was a big moment for me, because it reminds me of why I do what I do for my business and for life. And so that was a big moment for me, realizing that, yes, I'm here for a reason. And like my why was really reinforced. And then it also just reminded me gently as well to love myself even more. So it's about reaching for a greater thought, like one thought. So just a feeling just a little bit better than what you're feeling now. I always mention with my clients too, it's imagining a ladder. You can't get to the top of the ladder, like you're at the bottom, and you can't get to the top without walking up every step. Or I guess you could jump one, but really, why do more work than you have to? Like just one at a time. And that's really what we do with our feelings, to bring them back to where we want to be, is one step at a time. So the other big important thing, and it's one thing I've been personally working on, and I've been openly sharing about this, is support. We all need support, and it's just being reminded where you get support. So definitely I leaned on my husband a lot this week, but I almost shared it with somebody that I wanted to, and I realized that they were too close to the situation that I wanted to share about. And that could have actually left things not great for support wise. So it could have caused more conflict. So you have to make sure when you reach out for support, when you go through these times, that the support is in a loving, neutral place. And that's really where coaches do come into place a lot, and things like that. So just if you are going through hard times, reach out to support in whoever it could be, like a friend, family. Just make sure that they're coming from a place of love. Like, of course they love you, but sometimes, people bring judgment to the table, their own fears and things like that. So it has to come from a place of love and neutral places. So just be reminded of that when you go and reach for help, because we all need support. And that was actually one of my big own things I was dealing with this past week, that really I wasn't feeling supported. So if you don't feel supported, one of the biggest things that I did was just be reminded that I am supported. And it's like, I am supported in every area of my life. So that was a big affirmation I used this week. And it's amazing when you're open to the possibilities of support, instead of looking at all the areas you're not supported in, support comes in. And I was actually humming and hawing about signing up for an event, because I was like, oh, I should be working. Here's the should. Had all my day planned. Yeah, here I am saying I need support, and somebody actually reached out and said, hey, are you coming? And I took that as a sign. So sometimes we can rearrange our schedules as well. So know that, like, if you're not feeling supported, you're not always alone on this journey. I feel like it too sometimes, but know you are. And that's what I do here to help support as well. But just remember, if you are looking for support in life, just to look for a safe, loving place. And my husband is definitely one of those places for me. And I've had coaches and stuff that have also helped me in the past. So just remember, reach for a loving place. So if you feel like you're going against the flow, pause. That is the biggest thing. And actually, this is a big step for almost anything in life. If things aren't going the way you want them to go, hit that pause button, take a breath, and just be, just for a moment. Because when we get caught up in like, oh, this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, you're now focused on the problem and not the solution. Take yourself out of the water, if we're going to talk about the whole canoe metaphor, and just be for a minute. Get your footing, and then reach for a better feeling, and then a better feeling, and a better feeling. And then when people reach out for you for support, if that's the area that you were feeling not good in, or whatever area was like causing you conflict, when things start changing around, try not to shut them out. We can get so lost in our own moments that we don't reach out for help. Like here, I was like not feeling supported, and all of a sudden somebody reached out for support. And, I could have easily been like, no. And I didn't say yes right away either. I stayed grounded in who I am and really thought about it for a minute. And not too long, because then fear can set in. But I did think about it for a minute and listen to my gut. So just breathe and reach for a better thought. And remember, the more you love yourself, the more love loves you too. Or actually, it flows better, because life always loves you. But the more you love yourself, the more life just flows lovingly around you. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.